For today's video, we'll be talking about providing care for teens who may have been parentified. Parentification is a process that occurs over time when a parent or a caretaker looks to their child for physical or emotional support rather than being the one providing it. This process of parentification could occur maybe due to parental abuse, neglect, or simply the parent not having sufficient emotional or physical support from adult caregivers in their lives. As a result of our children who have been parentified, they often find themselves having to assume adult responsibilities at a very young age. Maybe they have to be the ones to provide care to their younger siblings, assume the majority of housekeeping duties around the home, or maybe even have to provide financially by acquiring resources or having to pay bills. Emotional parentification can also occur when a parent looks to their child to be the source of emotional support as well. Maybe the child has to serve as a confidant to their parents. Maybe they have to persistently provide emotional comfort to their parents, or maybe they have to be the one mediating conflict between adults as well. It's very important to remember that many of our teens or even preteens may have been parentified, and as a result, they may have difficulties with assuming this new role of being a child in the home. Parentified children often have a difficult time with building trusting relationships with adult caregivers. Maybe they can struggle with difficulties with regulating their own emotions, or maybe they even have high levels of anxiety related to providing care for others, or maybe even themselves. Here are a few tips and things to remember when providing consistent care for children who may have been parentified. Tip number 1, maintain open lines of communication. Have a conversation with your child on what it was like to them for having to be the ones to provide consistent care rather than receiving it. Acknowledge that this may have been anxiety producing for them, or maybe even confusing at times. Acknowledge that it now may feel weird for them to be the one receiving care in their home rather than having to always provide care as well. Oftentimes, our children who have been parentified are competent at many things, so try to find ways to incorporate their skills in the home. Try to have a conversation on what their role as a child may now look like and what foster mom or foster dad can be responsible for on a daily, weekly, or even a monthly basis. Tip number 2, when possible, try to share power. Oftentimes, our children who have been parentified like to know that they can still be in control in many ways. Try to find ways that they can incorporate their skills and how they've had to care for their younger siblings. Maybe you can ask them, what does your younger sister like for lunch today? Or what does your younger brother do when he really needs to calm down? Try to find ways that they can incorporate these positive attributes into their lives instead of feeling shame and guilt. You can even allow them to continue to provide support for their younger siblings by packing a consistent lunch or a snack, or helping with bedtime routines as well. Tip number 3, be patient, supportive, and understanding. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2 tells us to be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. Try to remember that this is going to be a gradual transition from them having to be the parent to now being a child in your home. Try to remember that it often took quite a while for this dynamic to emerge in the child's family of origin, and that they were only behaving or acting in a way that helped them and their families to survive for so long. So plan that this is going to be a gradual transition. However, by being patient, supportive, and understanding, you are setting the core conditions to assist them with learning to heal, to grow, and to adjust in their new home and in their new role. I encourage you to try these tips as you are thinking through for different practical ways to build a relationship with a teen in the home that may have been parentified. And of course, if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to our 4Kids Epic clinical team, which will be happy to provide clinical interventions and parenting support as well.